In 1 Peter chapter 5 and in verse 5, Peter writes, "All of you clothe yourselves with humility toward one another, because God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble." Clothe yourselves with humility towards one another. I love that imagery that Peter uses there. That humility is to be like a garment that we put on. It's to be like clothing that we wear. We wrap ourselves in humility as we would a robe or a jacket that we might put around us. Peter says, clothe yourselves with humility. It's amazing to me how often Jesus spoke of humility. He spoke about humility in numerous settings, in different occasions. Oftentimes it was with his apostles, and we think about occasions when his disciples were arguing perhaps about who's going to be the greatest in the kingdom, who's going to have the chief seat, who's going to be in first place, and Jesus would speak to them about humility in those circumstances. I came across a quote that I thought was very indicting, perhaps. This is a quote from a woman named Hannah Whitehall Smith. I don't know who she is. I don't know what her background is. I can't even tell you where this quote comes from because this is simply quoted in another work. So this book that I'm reading quotes from her. But she says something here that I think is interesting. She says, "Me is a most exacting personage, requiring the best seat and the highest place for itself, and feeling grievously wounded if it is a claim not recognized. Most of the quarrels among Christian workers arise from the clamoring of this gigantic me. How few of us understand the true secret of taking our seats in the lowest rooms." I think Miss Smith is exactly right about that. We're so quick to defend ourselves. We're so quick to jump up and fight for our own thoughts and our rights and our place and our position, and we always want to do what is best for me. And yet that is so often the opposite of what Jesus taught us in the scripture. It seems to me that the surest sign of the presence of God in one's life is the absence of self. And we would do well to do as Peter said, to clothe ourselves in humility. Something to think about.